In this video, we are going to cover how to review an SPQ and a TDS. You'll find these documents beginning on page 65 of the compliance review training contracts document that is in the app. So for the SPQ and the TDS, we're going to look at these differently based on whether the transaction is our listing or whether we are representing the buyer. So we want to be very careful that we've noted and gone. I usually go back to the checklist, go up to the top of the page, and make a note that am I looking at us representing the seller or us representing the buyer. So you want to make sure that the address and APN are complete. These forms, what we're looking for on the SPQ are any yes answers to these questions. So here at the bottom it says all questions need to be answered. We cannot leave any questions unanswered, and any questions answered yes should be explained or obvious. And I'll let you know, I'll show you what I mean by obvious when we get to one of those questions. The SPQ is a 4-page document, so we want to make sure that all documents are there, or all pages are there, and that is initialed by both parties. I'm trying to look at one of these questions here. So there is in each section, like section 6 right here has A through L. Right below each section, you will find a spot for explanation. Many times you will see it referred to, explained on a text overflow document or TOA. So if they are referring to a text overflow here, you want to make sure that you have that text overflow. If you do not have that text overflow and the form refers to one, you want to reject this form and make it a comment that the form refers to a TOA and that it's required to be uploaded. So let's see here. In this section, section 7, same thing. All questions need to be answered. All yes questions need to be explained or obvious. Like, for example, any alterations, modifications, replacements, improvements, remodeling that was done, and they answer yes, you want to know what was altered, what was remodeled or required. So if we're representing the seller, we want to make sure that they're being fully disclosed for their protection, that later on they can't be accused of not disclosing something. But on a buyer, if it is marked yes but not disclosed, we want to point that out to our buyer, and we want to ask for explanation from seller. And it can even come in the form of an email where they're explaining it on an email. You would upload the emails, or there would be addendums to the SPQ. Or additions. Explanations can be added on these lines if a document is changed after it is signed by parties. If they add an explanation after the fact, you need to have if the change section initialed by all parties. You want to pause and make sure that you note on 7F, super important question, new law that is out to us, that if the property was acquired in the last 18 months, if this is answered yes, go to the next question. If yes, have any room additions, structural modifications, or other alterations or repairs, improvements been performed by a contractor? If this is yes, it triggers the California flip law requiring the seller to provide all items noted in that section. So if yes, the seller needs to provide all contractor information, which and which repairs the contractor performed. So super important. If there's yes answers here, seller shall provide, and just make note of these items. Moving on, we're looking for any yes sections here. Any yes answers here need to be explained in the section or on a text overflow. Is this page initialed? We're looking for all pages. Again, we're looking for yes. So like right here, here's one of those that's kind of obvious. Past or present pets on the property, yes. And usually I would see a notation, a dog or a cat. This may have to do with like allergies of the person coming in and buying the property. You want to make sure you're notating this. Again, we're looking for any yes marks on here. This section right here is for condominiums. This section, if it is left blank, you would maybe want them to notate not applicable. Make sure it's initialed. Make sure we have all pages. Getting to this section here, are there any yes answers? Seller buyer signs this page and making sure all 4 pages are present. Moving on to the TDS. Again, we're wanting to make sure that the address, date, and all of these things are fully completed. We want to make sure one of these boxes must be checked, but sometimes multiple boxes are checked. So if reports are referred to, or if there's additional inspections referred to on any of these lines, they need to be made a requirement on the checklist. So if a home inspection is referred to here or a termite is referred to, then you toggle back over to the checklist, make it a requirement, and say that it's referred to in the TDS as your reason for making it a requirement. Most of the times this box is the one that's marked. You also want to make sure that there is one of these 2 boxes marked, must be checked, one of these 2. The seller is or is not occupying the property. From here, you're going to want to notate any yes answers, any additional typed things. Is the page initialed by both parties? On this next page, just notate any additional items here. Does it add any requirements of forms that are needed? We're looking for yes answers. All answers must be questions, and all yes answers must be explained except for 12 and 13. So 12 and 13 is are there CC&Rs? Yes or no? And is there a homeowners association? Yes or no? Those are one of the obvious questions that is just a disclosure. They are there. Moving on, seller would sign this page. Page 2 is present. Buyer does need to. I didn't highlight this and missed this myself. So buyer does need to initial this page. Then we get to the section where the agents are. One of these 3 boxes needs to be marked. We are either representing both sides or representing one side. This section is for the representation of the seller. This side right here is for the person or representative agent who is representing the buyer or who has obtained the offer. For IBN agents, we do not want to use the no items noted. We want to have our agents avoid using this box. We want them to either complete an AVID or make notations that indicate that they have seen that property. Not anything that is publicly available, like, property is 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and has a fireplace. Those are things that you can see on pictures on, on the internet. So you want them to make specific notations of condition, a couple of things. There's a crack in the cement, or there's a tile that is cracked in the kitchen island, or specific notations that will show that they've actually been to the property and visited the property. If an AVID box is marked, you will toggle back to the checklist, and whichever side, so if we're representing the seller or the listing agent that is not our agent, indicates that they are going to complete an AVID, we will even make that a requirement. Go back to the checklist, make the listing side AVID a requirement, and in the comments you'll say referred to in TDS. If the buyer's agent marks, whether they are an IBN agent or another company's or another brokerage, if that box is marked, then you will go to the AVID category of the checklist, make it a requirement by clicking the must upload document. In the comments, say that it was referred to in the TDS. Make sure that these sections are signed and dated by the agents. That the seller and buyer is signing it here, and that both agents have signed it here, and that all 3 pages are present. And so that's our review of a SPQ and a TDS. Thank you for attending.